नमस्कार, थैंक यू. संडे मॉर्निंग को आप लोग यहाँ आए, for that thanks a lot. I know how difficult it is in US on a Sunday morning to leave all your work and come and attend and listen to somebody who's going to talk about things which actually don't matter anymore in our lives. Yes, they do. If we are free, then they matter. And I talk about a lot of boring things. Because the problem is, the kind of world we are living in, the world of hyper capitalism, hyper consumerism, hyper materialism, the problem is we realize that yes, there are some problems we must address, but then the pace of life is such that we are spending all our lives addressing only urgent things and not important things. Urgent things are, oh, I missed that call, I have to call that person. Oh, I have to book my car. Oh, I have to rush and pick up my child. I have to take him for soccer, this thing. Everything is urgent. Oh, I haven't called my mom, I have to call her. And the important things are your health, your mind, your life, and ultimately, why are we here? Why are we here? Why do we meet people we meet? Why do we get married to a person we get married to? Why are you in US? This is an urgent thing. What I am talking about is the important thing. I'm just kidding. So since you are a lot of young people here, that's why I wanted to tell you that first thing we have to understand that there are urgent issues. Elections for politicians are urgent things. But changing a country, protecting a society's cultural fabric is an important thing. And unfortunately, nobody has time for that. I came to US in early 80s to practice advertising, and I started working with one of the largest advertising agencies in the whole world, J. Walter Thompson. That was the time when Mr. Rajiv Gandhi took over. My green card was going to come in a few weeks or so. But he said something. He said, I'm here to build a new India. And I want all the young people living outside India to come and join me and give me strength to build a new India. I forgot about my green card. I left my job, went back to India to build a new India. But nothing happened. Everything remained exactly the same. After that, Mr. VP Singh came, he became the Prime Minister and he said, I am going to change India, I am going to rebuild India. Come and join me. And as a young person, I joined that battle, I joined this war. Nothing happened. Corruption remained the same. The status of Hindu society remained the same. Terrorism did not stop in Kashmir. Nothing changed. After that, different prime ministers came. Different presidents came in America who said they will change the geopolitics. Presidents of USA said, we will end terrorism. They said we will end poverty. They said we will end inequality. In India, Prime Ministers promised we will end corruption. And we will find the old glory of India back and we will become Vishwaguru. Everybody promised, nothing has changed. I left US in the 80s. We are in 2022. I was my daughter's age when I left and I wanted to rebuild India. And till date, now I am almost the retirement age, nothing has changed. It set me thinking why things are not changing. You meet any individual, there is nobody here sitting who doesn't want to change the world. The problem is that all of us want somebody else to change the world. All of us want somebody else to fight the battle which we want to fight. So I said there is no point telling others it's my turn to do it. I had a great career in films. I was making these films which anybody can die for, with biggest of the stars, glamorous films, which pay you in vulgar money. Wherever you go, people run after you, they want photographs with you, you are a star. You don't have to come here and fix your mic if you are in that game. So one day, I quit everything. I just resigned from Bollywood. And I said, no, I'm going to teach students. If I can't do anything, at least I can teach them and ensure that they become good Indian CEOs and all. And I was teaching in some business school, one of the top business schools of the world, Indian School of Business. And that's when I realized, when I had nothing to lose, because I had lost everything. When I had no money, I was totally bankrupt and broke, and I decided to go back to my village. And that's when I realized one thing, that nobody advertised, said wanted directors or wanted filmmakers. I came out of my own choice. Then why the world, why the incompetence and inefficiency of the world, why the corruption of the world is dictating how I should live my life? And then I realized what is important. I said there is one lifetime, and I decided to dedicate my life to one cause. And that cause became my passion, my driving force, and whatever I do, every breath I take is driven by that one cause. I realized that I was born in one of the greatest societies of the world. And that's what I want to talk to you about. So, I come from a country, the young boys and girls, all of you are Indians, I know you run this. But if you do not know, today in America, everybody talks about humanity. Humanity is the new fad. Equality is the new fad. Everybody is equal, no discrimination. They are trying to educate people about it. American narrative tells the entire world what humanity is all about. So, in next 10-15 minutes, I am going to tell you what humanity is all about. And I am also going to tell you what humanity is not about. So I come from a nation which is called Bharatvarsh and now India. At the top of India, there is a place called Kashmir. So you can also say it's the mind. People say mind because we believe in the physical world. We are so materialistic that we always say mind, mind, mind. I would say it's the consciousness of India. And in that land, the Lord Shiva, Kashmir is the abode of Lord Shiva. That's why Kashmiris believe in Shivas. And the entire philosophy of Shiva is about oneness. Nobel Prize winning physicists of the world, right from Einstein to Fritjof Capra, to anybody you name in the world, anybody who has anything to do with science, believes in Shiva's philosophy. And this is the reason why in the world's largest lab, CERN, in Switzerland, when you enter, the first thing you see outside that is a huge, huge statue of Shiva in his cosmic dance, which is in Hindi, it's called Tandav Nritya. What is this Tandav Nritya? What is this cosmic dance of Shiva? The cosmic dance of Shiva is actually a dance of construction and destruction. Constant construction and destruction. In order to construct something, you have to destroy something. And in that dance, the Shiva philosophy lies the oneness of the world. This entire cosmos is one. The smallest cell of your body has the same energy and the same potential as this cosmos. And that's exactly what particle science, quantum physics discovered just few years ago, few decades ago. The quantum, the smallest particle, when it is there, it's not there. When it's not there, it's there. When it's static, it's dynamic. When it's dynamic, it's static. That is science. And Shiva is, when he's dancing, when he's there, he's not there. When he's not there, he's there. Tonight, when you go back, just read the quotations of the top scientists of the world, and you will understand what Shiva stands for. And which is why Shiva has a third eye. No God in the world, no great person in the world has been picturized or visualized with a third eye. Shiva is the only example. What is this third eye all about? Everybody, I'm sure you know about Trineti. We also say third eye. How do you know this is happening? You say, my third eye is seeing it. What is this third eye? Now look at the greatness of this symbolism. Your brain has left and right. Am I right? Left brain and right brain. And very often, not very often, almost all the times, we think either from the left brain or the right brain. Right brain is for all the creative things, the visualization, imagination, poetry, art, science, all those things, feelings. Left brain is data, statistics, systems, process. America is a left brain country, India is a right brain country. Very clear. Here, if you go little out of system, you improvise little bit, the whole system collapses. Try it at a McDonald's someday. Say, I need Coke without ice. That's it. Just say Coke without ice. They will not understand. You have to say Coke, no ice. No scope for understanding, no scope for improvisation. Similarly, India, totally right brain country. They give a damn to system. They give a damn to processes. They say, what is this? This is life. We are human beings. Nature has no order. Nature doesn't believe in system. Sometimes it rains, sometimes it doesn't. Today it's cloudy, tomorrow it's sunny. People die anytime. You can't decide how somebody's birth, you can't decide somebody's death. If life and universe, God has made everything so uncertain, then who are you to create this certainty? You are not a table, you are not a chair. So we are human beings, so let it be uncertain. Now this is how East and West has been divided. The entire East is non-system, non-left brain. The entire West is left brain, non-right brain. But ask anybody in the world, anybody, even an idiot if you ask, will tell you, no, the best thing is to think from both the brains. Why? Because that's where equality is. That is where, at the center, in politics, the best people who are considered best are people at the center. Actually, they are the worst people because they don't know this and that. So, third eye of Shiva is when your left and right become one. That concept of oneness of understanding is the third eye. Now, the third thing about Shiva. These are the times of transgender equality. In America, this is a word, everybody, a voice to speak. People don't want to get into transgender politics because it's very touchy. 5,000 years ago, we invented this concept of transgender. What is transgender? Transgender is not how the left brain people of America understand it, which means that all of us have feminine side and a masculine side. Poetry is feminine side, but cutting wood and making a table is the masculine side. You need both. Therefore, the concept of the best ideal human being is someone who has yin and yang. Yin and yang means masculine and feminine. And that's why Shiva is visualized as Ardhanarishwar, half man, half woman. Again, the concept of oneness. So, New York Times, Times Magazine, Newsweek, American presidents, American media, Hollywood, everybody goes gaga gaga about oneness, that we are one. And they come to India and they try to teach us what does it mean to be one. So I want to tell you, I come from a land which invented the concept of oneness beyond anybody's comprehension. It's so wide, if I start speaking on this, you will not understand, you will not believe me, because it's so true. Then this whole concept of non-dualism. There's a great sage called Maharshi Ramanna Maharshi. आपने नाम सुना होगा. Some British correspondent asked him how to treat others. It was supposed to be a long, 1 hour long interview. Somebody asked him, what do you suggest how to treat others? And he believed in Shiva. He said there are no others. And the interview ended. There was nothing left to be said. What do you say? If there are no others, you can't talk. What do you talk? Think about it, what I am saying. It's a deep thing I am talking about. If there are no others in this world, what do you talk? Then there is no east and west, because everything is one. There is no north and south. There are no first world countries and third world countries. There are no rich and poor. So what if you have more money or somebody has lesser money? You are one. There are no others. This world survives on otherness. This world survives by othering you. Why do we buy BMW or why do we buy big model of Tesla? Because we want to other ourselves from the others. People who come and teach the concept of humanity and oneness to the world actually are teaching the concept of humanity to tell the world that you do not know nothing about humanity. And we know. We are Democrats, we know everything. We are liberals, we know everything. I have nothing against Democrats, but that's American politics, so I'm using it just to lighten up the moment. What can be more hilarious than somebody saying, I am liberal, I am progressive? What can be more hilarious? For me, it's a joke. How can anybody call himself liberal? The moment you call yourself liberal and others illiberal, shows that you are not liberal. This is the contradiction of the word. Now I want to tell you what is liberal. I'll take you one by one through all these definitions of humanity and democracy. So oneness, I have told you, I can go on and on. This whole concept of oneness comes from Kashmir. Shiva, seat of Shiva. Now let me tell you what is progressive. Today, progressive means giving equal rights to women. It means giving equal rights to weaker section, to black people, to persecuted people. Am I right? That is a progressive person who is open to new ideas. People who accepted in 80s LGBT community, they are progressive people. People who are creative, people who believe in poetry, people who believe in art, people who do all these kind of fine things, who are not conservative, not regressive, not orthodox. Progressive also means people who are not very fundamentalists or radical or very religious about, they say, my faith is the only faith. Those are progressive people, they are progressive ideas. 5,000 years ago, we visualized 3 goddesses. It's unparalleled in the history. You young people, you must know. You can go and check, Google and research. If your parents have not told you, you go and do on your own and find out. There is no other society or civilization in the world which visualized 3 goddesses which represent everything about your life. First, Durga. Durga is a goddess of courage, power, destroying evil. Evil does not mean other person, evil inside you. The second is Lakshmi. Lakshmi is about wealth creation. We were never anti-capitalist. We have a god for money called Kuber. We have never been anti-money. It's wrong, it's a mythology. We are simple people does not mean we were against wealth creation. If we were against wealth creation, how come before Mughals came to India, we were the richest country in the world, controlling almost 30-40% of the entire GDP of the world? So we were great advocates of wealth creation, that's why Lakshmi. Yes, some other civilizations also have gods or goddesses or something for money, because money has always attracted people. Now let me tell you about the third goddess. Third goddess is Saraswati, the goddess of wisdom, the goddess of education, the goddess of learning. And Lakshmi has one musical instrument, she has a book, she has a lotus, she has swans around her. Anything which is beautiful in this world, anything which makes you progressive, anything which makes you liberal, is what Saraswati stands for. It's another thing that these days people worship only Durga and Lakshmi, they have forgotten Saraswati. I'm sure in your house there is no statue of Saraswati, but I guarantee you have a statue of or something of Lakshmi and Durga also. I can guarantee. All the Hindu people here, I know that. You will be surprised that Saraswati's statue is not now we live in a very politically charged world, but when I was growing up, all the Saraswati statues, या आपको भी शायद नहीं पता होगा, Saraswati is the goddess of Kashmir, Sharda, not that, but you may not know that because people didn't notice because they were not conscious of this fact. It's the modern Western world which has made you conscious about human bodies so much, because everything is physical. Saraswati's statue has only a very sheer fabric on her. She is almost naked. That is the concept of transparency, where you are not shy of your own body, because when you find wisdom, when you are learning oriented, when you are progressive, body means nothing. Physicality means nothing. It's your qualities like that musical instrument means the music, the learning, the book, the literature, the modern thoughts, new thoughts. That's what it means. Saraswati represents everything which this world is seeking today. The world is seeking in the name of humanity oneness, progressiveness. Both of them come from Kashmir. Now the third thing people are talking about in the name of humanity is diversity. And let me tell you, you may not like it, and it's got nothing to do with India or America. It's got to do with people who talk about diversity. Let me tell you one thing. More we talk about diversity, more fragmented the world becomes. It's true. People don't even understand what is diversity. We have reduced the concept of diversity into colors, skin colors. We said when you have a lot of yellow skin, black skin, white skin, all these skins when they are together, that is diversity. We respect diversity. Why do you respect diversity? Because he is black in color and I have no problems with that person. He is yellow in color, I have no problems. We welcome everybody. You don't welcome everybody. You don't welcome poor people. You welcome people who are talented, who will come here, make money for you. That's what you welcome. But you are guilty of that. You are guilty of your own hyper-capitalism, your own greed, that you want to cover it up with all these sophisticated principles which were actually invented in a place called India, Bharat, and especially Kashmir. I'll tell you what diversity is. Diversity has nothing to do with people. Diversity has to do with thoughts, with ideas. A white person and a black person, if both have evil tendencies and they decide to do something together evil, that is not diversity mixing with each other. Diversity is when two people with two different ideas and they work together for humanity. That is diversity. And this is the reason that India is the only land, only civilization in the history of humanity which has given birth to 4 most peaceful religions. Peaceful. In the history of humanity, there has not been even one day, if you make a mapping, some IT graduate, you should do a mapping, not even one day where there has not been a war on this earth. And in 99% case, you will find these wars were fought by either Christian communities or Muslim communities or some other civilization. There are only 4 religions in the world who never ever invaded anyone, never killed anyone, never occupied anybody's land like the colonials of Britain, Spain, Portugal and France and Dutch people, who never stole anybody's money by lying to them like Western world does these days in the name of globalization. Buddhists never do that. Jains never do that. Sikhs never did that. Hindus never did that. And who were persecuted? Who was invaded? Who was looted? The people who actually created diversity. Let me tell you about a concept, which again, Surendraji comes from the great land of Kashmir. Non-violence. You go anywhere in the world, ask people what is non-violence. Tell me what is non-violence.
From what was told to us, it's not hurting any human, any living soul, and being with one another.
Okay. You ask anybody, he will tell you the same thing. Do not hurt another person.
Not living. Any living.
Any living thing.
Means animals.
Because that's how the West has understood the whole concept of non-violence. Because the West has never ever gone beyond bodies, beyond physicality. Now let me tell you what is non-violence. The whole concept of Hindu concept of non-violence, it's expressed in one word. It's called Anekantvad. Is there any Jain person here? No. They would know. Anekantvad, which believes there are infinite ways to find the truth. Truth is one. But to reach the truth, there are millions and millions of ways. Denying any other way than yours is violence. Do you understand how deep this concept is? You understand how deep this concept is? Means denying your thoughts, denying your truth is violence. Accepting everybody's thoughts that yes, your way can be the right way to reach the truth, your way can also be right way to truth. Accepting that, not respecting that. Respect is something else. I can respect you, but you live in your own house. I don't care about you. Not tolerating it, which is a Western concept of tolerance. Not tolerating, but accepting it. Like we accept trees, we accept birds and the sky and the sea. Accepting it like that, that every way to reach the truth is the right way. That is non-violence. It's called Anekantvad, which ultimately evolved into a religion called Jainism. The one line, like we say Sanatan, that is the one line concept of chance. Now imagine how evolved these minds were. How evolved were these minds who were thinking like that. Now the fourth thing, let me tell you about science. Very often people say the West invented science. Am I right? People say in India, people don't believe in science, they don't know science, they hate science, they are anti-science. And politically they connect Indians with Republicans and they say Republicans also don't believe in science and Indians also don't believe in science. Both of you are regressive, so get out. So there is a template, you have thrown them out of the template. Writing formulas is not science. Science is basically understanding of this cosmos and our relationship in this cosmos. The Western contribution is immense. Let me tell you one thing. I believe in Anekantvad. I am not here to disrespect anybody. I am not here to negate anybody. But the reason I am talking like this, comparing West with this, because West has a habit of comparing all the times. Now it's my turn. Science. When you are sick, where do you go? To a doctor? That doctor gives you a medicine, it's called medical science. The entire medical science has evolved by cutting dead bodies. When people die, cut their body, learn about the body, and that's how medical science has progressed. So medical science actually is the science of dead bodies. And which is why in this world there are so many sick people. Which is why everybody is going to gyms and jogging and running and taking health products, but nobody is healthy. You ask any American doctor what is healthy, I guarantee I can write in my blood, he can't tell you what it is. He'll tell you healthy means not being sick. Am I right?
Yes.
Am I right? You go to any American house, even Indian houses, you will find a cupboard full of pills and drugs. Hundreds of maximum allergies. I have met so many children who have allergy from everything except for breathing air. That also they can't breathe air in outside air-conditioned homes. Take them their pollen allergy, this allergy, that allergy. When does this allergy happen? When you lose contact with the nature, Mother Nature. So I'm not against modern medical science. I am going for a surgery after some time. So I am not against it. But I am against proving to the world that this is the only science. This science is making everybody sick and making pharmaceutical companies billionaires. Now let's look at yoga and Ayurveda. 5,000 years ago, Patanjali, if you have read Patanjali's Sutra, they realized how many arteries you have, how many veins you have, what are the internal organs. Modern medical science is still struggling with understanding the mind. They understood how to control the mind. Forget understanding. Here you have to go to a therapist to control your mind. But yoga says you are the therapist of your mind. And this entire science of yoga with the West is now crazy after, and Ayurveda was discovered by observing living bodies. They did not cut even one body. They just observed people. They observed themselves. And that's why such great science was evolved. That's why yoga is the science of living bodies. It is the real life science. Now this may sound very boring and unbelievable, but this is the truth. But the world doesn't know this truth because all of us are busy with urgent things. Nobody has time to tell important things, and this is why your children and my children also do not know what I am telling. I am not telling something extraordinary. I am just telling which is there. Which your parents knew. Your grandparents who were not even educated, they knew about it. And therefore I decided that I am not going to hear this non-stop narrative about India's fault lines. Hollywood movies always talk about the greatness of America, greatness of that Superman is always saving humanity. With 2.5 hours of extreme violence, last 2 minutes they want to save humanity with so much of violence, destruction. So therefore I say, if the humanity is a problem, if the world peace is a problem, Indian philosophy is the answer. And this is all Patanjali yoga, it's all coming from Kashmir. Kashmir, Greeks called Kashmir the cradle of civilization. Anybody who's watching the film tonight will know there's a lot of information on that, so I don't want to reveal that. I'll show you a 20-minute AV after this. But what I want you to know is that in our own ways, all of us can promote these concepts. What takes to promote a concept of oneness? What does it take to be progressive? Progressive simply means appreciating all the beautiful things in the world. You appreciate beauty, I appreciate beauty. You look at the flower and you feel good, I look at the flower and you feel good. What does it take to promote it? Not plucking the flower. That's it. It's as simple as that. But we are so busy in our lives that there are flowers all around us, but we don't want to look at that. But we can spend hours looking at that flower on Instagram. And let me tell you, the Western narrative is Instagram flower, and the Hindu narrative, Hindu philosophical narrative, not the political, is the real garden of flowers. All you have to do is shut your Instagram for some time, step into the real garden. And that's what I did. My life changed. My family's life changed. Everything about me changed. Because I was not window shopping Hindu philosophy. I became that. I became that. It's so powerful. Unfortunately, the political side is so bad that it covers up everything and we start looking at it from that point of view. We can't. And it's very unfortunate that Hinduism, do you know what is Hinduism all about? The great belief of Hinduism is that if you are a practicing Hindu, absolutely fine. If you are a non-practicing Hindu, you are still a Hindu. You do prayers, you are a Hindu. You don't do prayers, you are not a Hindu. You believe in God, you are a Hindu. You don't believe in God, you are a Hindu. You do bhajan, praising gods, you are a Hindu. You abuse gods, you are a Hindu. If you are an atheist, entire Charvaka philosophy. If you are an atheist, you are a Hindu. There is a great rishi now, there is an entire sect on him, Charvaka. He used to say, the only purpose of life is to drink throughout the day, eat and sleep. And we called him a rishi, a sage, a seer. We worship him. You believe in Vishnu? Yes. You don't believe in Vishnu? Yes. You want to create your own God? Yes. You are a Hindu. And this is the reason. In the end, I want to tell all the young people something which no American school is never going to tell you. And this is something, if you are a proud Indian, if you really owe something to your parents and to the motherland of your parents, if somebody tomorrow talks about India, this is what you must tell them. And that's when I'll conclude this. Everybody talks about minorities, majority. A lot of people will tell you India has a majoritarian government. Don't they tell that? A fascist government. They say Hindus are in majority and they oppress the minorities. That's the narrative you hear from everybody and you don't know how to answer that. We are the only civilization, we are the only society in the world, in the history of humanity on this earth, which was ruled for 1,000 years by the minority. 800 years by Muslim minority, 200 years by Christian minority. And when we got the independence from our invaders and colonizers, we said no problems. You live here with equal rights and respect, you are part of us. And the irony is that wherever these invaders, the world has been invaded only by Christians and Muslims, nobody else. Buddhists never invaded anybody. Wherever they went, those countries, those societies converted. Where the Christian invaders went, those countries became Christian. America, for example. Right? The natives, faith is not there at all now. Australia, New Zealand, so many countries became Christian. In Africa, so many countries became Christian. Latin America, most of it became Christian. That is not their faith. Wherever Islamic invaders went, those countries became Islamic countries. All 100% of them. Without exception. Bharat, India is the only country, civilization in the world, when it got freedom, it was still majorly a Hindu country. 1,000 years of slavery, 1,000 years of rule by the minority could not change us. Why? Because we believed in diversity. And what is that diversity? You destroy our temples, no problems, we will worship trees. You destroy trees, no problems, we will worship rivers. You dry our rivers, we look at the sky and we worship that. You destroy, you don't let us look at the sky, no problem, we'll just meditate and we'll do their worship. And if you do stop everything, the entire motor, nothing exists, what is the problem? I am God. Tattvamasi is the first sutra of Vedas. Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi, means you are God. What will you destroy? How can you destroy? And isn't that what atomic science based on? You destroy one, it becomes two. You destroy this, becomes two. It multiplies. And that's exactly what happened. And that is why all the civilizations of the world have perished. Today there is no ancient civilization in the world. No Greek civilization, Roman civilization, Egyptian civilization, Incas, nothing, Mongolian, nothing exists. Only one civilization has survived in the world, the history of humanity, that is Hindu civilization. There must be a reason for that, and that reason is humanity. This is what humanity is after all about. And if you look at the Darwin's theory, Darwin, what is success? Success is the race which survives till the end. Am I right? What is evolutionary biology? Evolutionary biology, the Darwin's principle is the most successful, the only purpose of races is to survive. Whoever survives till the end is the most successful race in the world. Now you decide, 5, 10,000 years we have survived our civilization as one. Now you decide who's the most successful society in the world, community in the world. And if you are not proud after this, I don't know what else can make you proud. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you very much.